Hey everyone, Khadijah here. Let's talk about our phones. We love them, we need them, we can't live without them. But what if I told you that our constant need to stay connected is actually messing with our minds? We're all guilty of it. Endlessly scrolling through social media, refreshing our inboxes, and feeling phantom vibrations. So, in this video, we're diving deep into the hidden ways your phone might be affecting your mental health and what we can do to break free. Okay, let's be real. How many times have you checked your phone today? If you're anything like me, the answer is probably embarrassing. Constantly checking for notifications isn't just a quirky habit. It's often a sign of something deeper: anxiety. Every time we get that little buzz or that red notification badge, our brains get a hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical. Over time, we become like Pavlov's dog, trained to crave that little hit again and again. While getting a notification might make us feel good momentarily, constantly checking for them actually increases our anxiety in the long run. We start to feel this pressure to be constantly connected, to respond immediately, to never miss a beat. Our relationships, our work, even our sleep can be affected by this constant need to be plugged in. We end up sacrificing real-life interactions for virtual ones, and our ability to be present in the moment goes out the window. So the next time you reach for your phone without even thinking, take a second to pause and ask yourself, what am I really looking for? We've all been there. You're at dinner with friends, and you realize you left your phone in the car. Or maybe you're about to hop in the shower and you can't remember if you brought your phone with you. Suddenly, a wave of panic washes over you. Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, and you can't focus on anything else. Congratulations, you've just experienced phone separation anxiety. It's a real thing, people. And it's becoming increasingly common, especially among us millennials and Gen Zers. Our phones have become extensions of ourselves, holding our memories, our connections, our entire digital lives. So, being separated from them can feel like we're losing a part of ourselves. Our phones provide us with a sense of security, a feeling of being connected to the outside world. When we don't have that constant stream of information and communication, we can start to feel isolated, alone, and even vulnerable. Life is stressful, there's no denying that. We've got work deadlines, relationship drama, and that never-ending to-do list looming over our heads. So, it's only natural to look for ways to escape, right? And what better escape than the endless distractions of our phones? But here's the problem. Using our phones to escape stress is like putting a band-aid on a broken leg. It might provide temporary relief, but it doesn't address the underlying issue. When we're constantly glued to our phones, we're not giving our brains a chance to rest and recharge. We're bombarding ourselves with information, stimulation, and yes, more stress, even if it's disguised as entertainment. The more we rely on our phones to escape, the more dependent we become on them. It's about finding healthier ways to cope with stress. Okay, let's talk about sleep, or lack thereof. We all know that getting a good night's sleep is crucial for our physical and mental health, but our phones have become sleep's public enemy number one. Remember that blue light I mentioned earlier? It messes with our melatonin production. Melatonin is the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle, and when we're exposed to blue light at night, it tells our brains to stay awake. The constant notifications, the fear of missing out, the endless scrolling, it all adds up to a recipe for sleep deprivation. We end up tossing and turning in bed, our minds racing with thoughts about that last email we read, or that funny video we saw on TikTok. When we're sleep deprived, everything suffers. Our mood, our concentration, our productivity, even our immune systems take a hit. So, if you're serious about improving your mental health, it's time to declare war on your phone's sleep-sabotaging ways. Remember the days when you could sit down and focus on a single task for an extended period? Yeah, me neither. In today's hyper-connected world, our attention spans are dwindling faster than the battery life on our phones. Every notification, every like, every comment is a tiny dopamine hit that pulls us away from the task at hand. We've become digital goldfish, flitting from one distraction to the next, never truly focusing on anything. Focus is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be exercised. The more we give in to distractions, the weaker our focus becomes. And the weaker our focus, the harder it is to learn, to be creative, to be present in the moment. When we're constantly distracted, we miss out on the simple joys of life. We become so caught up in the digital world that we forget to experience the real one. Let's talk about anxiety. It's a feeling we're all familiar with. That sense of unease, worry, or fear that can creep up on us at any moment. And while our phones aren't the sole cause of anxiety, they can definitely amplify it. Social media is like a highlight reel of everyone else's seemingly perfect lives. We see the vacations, the promotions, the picture-perfect families, and we can't help but compare ourselves and feel inadequate. The constant pressure to be connected, to respond immediately, to never miss a beat can lead to burnout, stress, and yes, more anxiety. And let's not forget about the news. With our phones constantly buzzing with updates, it's easy to get sucked into the cycle of negativity and fear-mongering that often dominates the headlines. We've already talked about how blue light can mess with our sleep, but the negative impacts of phone use on our sleep go way beyond that. The constant stimulation from our phones keeps our brains in a state of high alert, making it difficult to wind down and fall asleep. When we're lying in bed, scrolling through social media, we see all the fun things our friends are doing, and we can't help but feel like we're missing out. This can lead to feelings of anxiety, restlessness, and even jealousy, all of which are enemies of a good night's sleep. When we use our phones in bed, we're essentially training our brains to associate our beds with stimulation and alertness rather than relaxation and sleep. This can lead to a vicious cycle of poor sleep habits and increased phone use. It's time to break the cycle and reclaim our sleep. In today's fast-paced world, productivity is king. We're all expected to do more, achieve more, and be more, all while juggling a million different responsibilities. But here's the irony. Our phones, the very devices that are supposed to make us more productive, are often the biggest productivity killers. Every notification, every email, every social media update is a tiny distraction that pulls us away from the task at hand. We convince ourselves that we're just taking a quick break, but those quick breaks add up, leaving us feeling scattered, overwhelmed, and ultimately, less productive. It's time to take control and focus on what truly matters. Okay, so we've talked about all the ways our phones can mess with our mental health, but what can we actually do about it? Well, the first step is acknowledging that we have a problem. It's easy to downplay our phone use, to convince ourselves that it's not that bad. But if you're constantly feeling anxious, distracted, or sleep-deprived, it's time to face the facts. Your phone might be the culprit. Once you've acknowledged the problem, it's time to set some boundaries. This means creating some distance between you and your phone, both physically and mentally. Start by establishing some phone-free zones in your home, like the bedroom, the dinner table, and the bathroom. Turning off notifications will not only reduce distractions but also lessen the urge to constantly check your phone. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to feel like we're constantly on. We're bombarded with information, stimulation, and demands on our time and attention. It's no wonder so many of us are feeling stressed, anxious, and burnt out. But there is another way. It's called mindfulness, and it's all about being present in the moment, without judgment. It's about paying attention to our thoughts, our feelings, and our surroundings, without getting swept away by them. And the best part? Mindfulness can be practiced anywhere, anytime, even in the midst of our crazy, busy lives. Another powerful tool for combating phone addiction is the digital detox. Even a short digital detox can work wonders for your mental health. So, there you have it. The truth about how our phones are secretly stressing us out. But the good news is, we don't have to be slaves to our devices. By setting boundaries, practicing mindfulness, and taking regular digital detoxes, we can reclaim our mental health and live happier, healthier lives. Remember, it's all about finding a balance. Our phones can be amazing tools, connecting us to the world and providing us with endless information and entertainment. For more health tips and expert advice, visit healthwisebites.com and jointshealth.site. Stay informed and take charge of your well-being.